Hello and welcome. I'm NBG and welcome to Fresh 60 Fresh Server. This should be episode number 18, where I take you from a 0 to a million gold. Today, we're going to get right after it. There's a lot of things to talk about, such as the actual expansion release date and other things on the list. Today, we're going to do our normal routine of, well, really just our normal general daily routine. We'll talk about what's coming, what's next, different thoughts I have about what to craft and what not to, and what my plans are as we really start approaching the beginning of Dragonflight. So, without further ado, let's get started. So as per usual, first thing I always do, all characters, doing my tables because they equal an awful lot of gold at the end of the day. Especially now that like on my main server, nearly everything's like just about 20 on the campaign progress. So yeah, I net probably 9,000 gold every time I do it, and I usually do it twice a day. So it's definitely good gold. So we'll go ahead and open that stuff. And we will head over and see what's on the docket for today. I do know that we should have multiple Revendreth today. So one of the ones ending is this one in Revendreth, and then we have this one as well. So we get 2 callings in Revendreth today. This is something that, especially on a day like today, you know, I usually have anywhere between 4 and 6 characters. I usually try to get it done on my main server, which I haven't done yet. I'll have to do that later tonight after this. But right now, with gold is just as awful as it is to make right now, it's kind of like your primary option. Do your tables, do your callings. Yeah, that's kind of the options right now. And I do think that's going to get worse, especially since the actual release date came out. But we'll talk about that. Let's go ahead and grab our mail. I don't believe I made a whole bunch yesterday. We ended up selling only a couple legendaries throughout the week. After that most recent episode, the next day I did pretty well. And then I didn't really sell some for a few days. Then I've sold like 2 to 3 over the course of the week. But regardless, it's all been at really good profit, so it doesn't really matter. As you can see, our current standing total on this character is 750,000. That's pretty good for not exactly trying very hard. So we've done quite well, and we could very easily get to 1 million if I just decide I want to push to get to 1 million. But we will talk about that in a moment. But after that, 754,000, I'm going to head back and get this stuff posted and see what we need to craft. Alright, everything has been canceled and reposted. Let's go ahead and take a look at our restock and see if there's anything that we need to restock. Again, I am not making any 262s right now. I certainly wish I knew what the pre-patch had in store, because honestly they might end up being worth crafting, but it really depends on what's going to happen in the pre-patch. That honestly decides everything. So let's take a look. Both of those are 291s. Yes. Okay, cool. So we do have 2 of these to recraft. Okay, here's an example. This waist guard right now, it's going price of a little over 2k profit. Honestly, usually when the profit's that low, I don't normally bother with it for like the legendaries, especially since they're such slow sellers. At least they have been for this character. Like I said, I sold like maybe 3 total out of like all of them, not even this specific one, but like throughout the week. And that much profit just isn't worth me. Like, what if the price drops more, so on and so forth? I can end up losing money. This one at 8.5k, or like almost 9k, absolutely, I'm going to craft this. And the other reason why I'm not going to craft this one with that price difference is with the announcement of the expansion, I do think we're going to start seeing markets drop again, at least briefly. I think they're going to drop again, they're going to stabilize again, and then like once pre-patch really comes, you're going to see a massive drop-off and people just really start dumping supply as they want to get rid of all their crap ahead of the expansion. So I'm a little worried about the fluctuation that we're going to see over the next few weeks leading up to the pre-patch. So I'm not gonna craft that. If it goes up like tomorrow, if all of a sudden like maybe there's only one there at that price, it gets bought up and you know the price tag goes back to like 5k plus profit, then I probably will. But at least for today, I'm good. I will go ahead and mark that one off. Let's quickly talk about like these items. I was probably gonna talk about this at the end of the video, but I'll talk about it now. So one of the other things that was said or posted about in terms of things that are coming for retail is the EXP boost. The 50% EXP boost is coming again with this following Tuesday, well, Tuesday for me anyway, the 4th, I believe, 4th of October. There's going to be the XP boost again, and it's going to last until the start of pre-patch. I wish it went further. I wish it could be used into pre-patch, because then you can try out all these new talents the way that they're supposed to be for somebody leveling. Personally, I wish that was the case, but that's a different story. So if they're lasting for about 3 weeks, because again, the leaked date of pre-patch is October 25th, I believe. So far, the previous leaks have all been true, so you can probably safely assume that that's right as well, or at least it's really close. So, like, let's say we had 3 weeks of this XP boost. Anybody who sees it and is aware that they only have 3 weeks, you're going to have people leveling alts and leveling new characters to get ready for the expansion or to get ready for pre-patch. And guess what? Those players are going to hit 50, their gear's going to suck royally, and they're going to need this item level 87 stuff. It's sold like hotcakes the whole expansion. It still sells now. Not as much on this server, but I think our sales on this character are going to pick up as well. I still sell it like every day on my main server, like for all professions. But, you know, plate, cloth, mail, leather, like I sell it all. It sells almost all of it almost every day, or at least on average. I have to remake everything every 2 days on average. And I expect that to happen again. I expect that to pick up. So that's one thing I would say, hey, be looking into this stuff. The other thing I would say to look into is pay attention to... It's something I need to pay attention to as well, and I'll make a video about it, especially if I notice something specifically. But one of the big things I'm looking for is what is actually going to be in the pre-patch. Is there going to be catch-up gear? What item level is it going to be? So on and so forth. If it's like, I don't know, 250 item level or something like that, or, you know, maybe 230, I don't know, who knows what it is. But if it's relatively low, that might mean that crafting those 262 pieces might actually start selling like crazy as people are really getting ready for, you know, for the upcoming expansion. So that's something I'm watching. Obviously, if you can get like 260 gear or something, 255 gear, something like that from the pre-patch, then I will definitely not be making any of the 262 ever again. However, if it's relatively low, like, I don't know, 240 or something, then you could argue, especially that mail stuff for people making the new class, the Evoker, that actually might make huge money in pre-patch. So that's one of the things I'm eyeing. But regardless, when this XP event starts, you're going to have people leveling again, and I do believe that all this item level 87 stuff is going to start, it's going to start selling even faster. So those are the things that I will be crafting. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and make these items and get them posted, and we will get on with our day. Everything has been posted. I'm now on the thread flipper, and let's see how this one's doing. Dang, looks like that flux again didn't sell. That's unfortunate. I have 28k on me, but I also have way more value in this flux. We will see what the going price is. Honestly, like, if the price isn't good, like right now, I believe, you know, vendor price 720 for the curing salt. So unless it's going like 60 cents higher than that, or 60 silver higher than that, like, you know, obviously you don't want to sell it because you're going to lose based on the auction house cut. Same thing goes for the luminous flux. It depends on what it's selling for. This actually shows that the minimum buyout for curing salt is 7. So obviously it's selling for less than what you can get it at the vendor, which is also a smart buy, by the way. Buy all of it at 7 from the auction house and post it higher where it needs to be. Not bad. You save 20 silver based on buying it from the vendor, so just saying. Luminous Flux is up there at 821. Buy it from the vendor at 720, so it's actually totally worth flipping up there. But I also saw that Thread was really good. I haven't been able to sell Thread like all week because the price has been really stupid. However, this price is good, so we are going to buy Thread again and get that all posted, and hopefully I can net some good profit off of these. Let's go see how many of these, how much of this curing salt's up there, because curing salt does not sell very quickly, but at the same time, if it's a really good price, Curing salt. How much is? Like, yeah. Look how much is under the price that you can buy it from the vendor. But again, doing something like this is totally worth it because it's cheaper than the vendor, and you can sell it over time, and you make money. Make good money at that. So honestly, it's probably worth doing. I'm not going to, but it's probably worth doing. Let's go ahead and post some of this stuff. This selling at 8, yeah, that's honestly a really good price. No issues there. I am going to post max. I'm going to do 12 hours. And then same thing here. I do believe this price might fall. So I'm going to do 1,000 for now, and I'll check it before I move over to my main server later and see if it's sold. So let's at least get 1,000 up there. So we'll do that. And yeah, back to the main character. Heading out to Revendreth, we got a Revendreth Defended. I always prefer the Defended because then I can grab treasures, which usually equals more gold. And then we also have the Powerful Foes, which is also good because the Powerful Foes right now just gives gold. And, honestly, that's the goal, right? It's gold, so I'll take that as well. So I have not completed the world boss this week, so sometimes this doesn't give percentage to the Revendreth Defended, but I'm going to do it anyway. But either way, I'm going to do the Powerful Foes quest, and then I'm going to get the Bleakwood chest, Stoneborn satchel. I don't usually do the secret treasures because I'm stupid. And then I'm going to do this Stoneborn and probably this one. And if I absolutely have to do a quest, I should probably do the math on that before I end up screwing up. I should have started here and moved that way. Anyway, the race day in the ramparts is extremely easy, and the muck it up is extremely easy, so I'd probably do one of those two. So I'm going to go ahead and plow through this and see you guys at the end of it. Alright, our callings are done. Let's go ahead and turn these both in, open it up, sell it to the vendor. And after this, we're going to head back to the auction house, do a cancel scan, and check to see what we're going to do for today's farm. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. There we are, and do all my anima since I have a ton of it on me apparently. And then we will get going. Alright, cancel scan is done, and when I went to go look around at like leather and other things that I would potentially want to farm, honestly, today's farm stuck out to me like a sore thumb. It was pretty obvious, mostly because it's under my favorites. First of all, thin jelly is at a decent enough price that if you have the ability to do that, that's a price that I would be willing to go out and do that farm. You're still going to make over 10k an hour doing that farm at that price, well over 10k at that. Turtle scale is been down ever since I did the video on it. It's kind of stayed this low for quite some time. It's still not that bad, to be honest. You can still actually make some pretty decent gold off of it. However, the one that I'm going to go for is another one that I have starred, and that's Warbearer Leather. Warbearer Leather has been, I don't know if somebody bought it all up and just like reposted it at a higher price or what, but this is, as you can see, much higher than its typical market value, much higher than what we've sold it for. Actually, it's not even showing what we've sold it for, which is unfortunate, but regardless, very, very good price. It's inflated. It's used for really good transmog. If you're ever going to farm it, now's the time. Even if I don't sell all of it at like 120 or 100, the price can fall, right? The price can fall a decent amount, and you're still going to make good gold off the farm. And since we have a farm already set up for doing this, that is definitely what we're going to do. I did think about doing a new farm, but honestly, if you're going to spend the time farming, you should always spend the time farming based either as a resupply, just to have it available to sell, or you should be farming based on how the market is, right? Like, there's no point in farming, I don't know, pick anything really, pick, I don't know, essentially you can't farm, but there's no point in farming something if the price is tanking. If the price is tanking, or it's super low, or it's lower than you've ever seen, if thin jelly was at 10 gold, like, that just would not be worth my time. I sit around and I wait until I see something that eventually rises in price, and then that's what I pick to go farm. I personally don't like going out and farming too often. I don't do it that often, but if I'm going to, it's in a case like this. So without further ado, let's head to the farm. As you probably know, but if you're Horde, you need to take the Zeppelin over to Stranglethorn Vale. If you're Alliance, I'd probably go to Stormwind and fly from there. But let's head over there and head over to the farm. And now that you're in Stranglethorn Vale, if you're Horde, you're now just going to fly over the mountains. You're going to head into Blasted Lands. Do remember that you need to have this set to the old version of Blasted Lands, and in order to do that, you might have to visit Zadormi to travel through time back to the previous version to have the farm work. So I do believe that I've switched it back to the normal version, so I probably have to fly out to her and switch it to the old version so that the farm will be available. Alright, so we are at the farm. It is located right here in this top part of Blasted Lands, and we are going to be hunting these tainted black bears. So let's go ahead and adjust our macro on the /tar. I will just write, I will try to write taint because that's a fun word to type. Let's go ahead and save that. So now we'll target anything with tainted in the name. There is the tainted creatures as well, but those can also be skinned. And I also forgot my darn firewater again. God, don't be like me. Don't forget that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead. Oopsies, I guess I should probably start this. So yeah, now we're just going to fly around, and we're going to primarily, you can, like this, go ahead and skin those because you're going to get rugged leather, and rugged leather really isn't all that bad. But if there's nobody else out here doing this farm, you need to do the circle and focus as much as you can on the bears. They do have static spawns, so they will be spawning in the same spots every single time. So with that said, just, you know, learn the spawns and grab them on your go. Let's see if I can't get one real quick. Did I get a warbear? No, I didn't. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do this for an hour and see how much we come up with. Warbear leather farm has been completed. We ended up with 101, which I believe the first time we ever did this, we ended up with 85. So that's a pretty big increase. Don't know why. Actually, I had pretty much no competition, so that's probably why, as opposed to I think the first time I had a little bit. Made a pretty big difference. So let's see where these are currently selling at. 101 here at this price would be 12,000 gold. I think it's doubtful, but if you look at how many are even at this price, yeah, I think it's doubtful, but still, if that's 12,000 gold, that would be insane. Let's go ahead and post those. Let's go ahead and post these at, yeah, 350 probably. It's not too much lower, but here's another 1,300 gold. So let's just say with the auction house cut and everything, like we're probably sitting around 13,000 gold. Probably a little bit less technically. This is not a whole lot, but you know, gold's gold, so I'm going to post it. Same thing with this, not a big deal, another 15. And then bear flanks have been posted up here at a pretty high price. I think it's quite doubtful that it would sell this much, but I'm not going to second guess. I'm just going to post it at this price and see what happens. I think it's really doubtful. I think I'm going to have to cut this price in half at least, is my suspicion. So, like, you can say 1,000 to 2,000 gold right here. So that puts us at like 13,000, 14,000 gold in terms of the farm, which is honestly quite nice. So let's go ahead and post all of that. Run a quick cancel scan. Doesn't look like I sold anything over that hour. At least nothing of value, at least from what I can see. So I'm going to go ahead and run a cancel scan, and then we will talk about what's coming next. All right, everything's been posted. Let's go ahead and have a brief talk about the future. So here we are coming into whatever day this is. What, September 30th? Yeah, yes, September 30th, and we got the information that the Dragonflight itself will be launching on November 28th, which is awesome news. You can assume that about a month or so prior to that will be pre-patch, so we have really maybe a month at most until pre-patch, which is pretty big. I really wish I knew what was on the PTR in terms of gearing and other stuff like that to see what kind of money-making methods, gold-making methods we can get, but that will have to wait until that gets released, I guess, or shown, or, you know, put up for the PTR. So again, as I was stating before, with the leveling buff, or yeah, the leveling buff coming on the 4th. I think other people are going to start leveling stuff. You can probably sell some leveling gear. Might even be able to do some 262 stuff for the people that want to just level something and then like get decent gear and jump right into content. However, I'm probably not going to do 262s right away. I'm going to wait until I see a little bit more on what's going on in terms of pre-patch. But with that, we are really close to our end goal of 1 million. It's just a matter of how much effort I want to put into doing it. But now I'm going to talk about a few other things. First of all, as of last night, I finally got into the beta for Dragonflight. So there's some testing and there's things I want to look at, primarily profession-based, and then there's some personal stuff based off of, like, I'm very interested in Evoker. I want to check that out. I want to head out into actual Dragonflight and do some herbing and mining and other things of that nature to see how it feels. See how it feels to level those kind of professions and other things of that nature. But the most important thing is I want to play with professions and get my own grasp on everything, because like everybody else who's into it, I'm trying to decide on like what my focus is going to be right at the start of the expansion. I can't really do everything, but I can focus on one or two things, at least on like main characters and things of that nature. And a lot of that is going to come down to, well, for instance, my Evoker is more than likely going to be mining and engineering, because engineering is the only thing I don't have because it's been crap the whole expansion. I used to have an engineering, but I dropped it. And that's what I would like to do, but I'm also considering, especially at the beginning, to make my Evoker mining and either leatherworking or probably herbalism for quite some time, until I can kind of see where like engineering ends up as a profession, because it's hasn't been great for a while unless you're making some old world stuff, and I don't have any of that crap anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. Like the current expansion stuff has to be highly valuable. So that's my initial plan with the Evoker, and then my other, like, what's always been my main is my warrior, and that right now I believe is mining and jewel crafting, and it's been that way for a long time. So it's like those are two professions that I really want to check out to see kind of where it's going to be at the start of the expansion. Typically, what I like to focus on at the start of an expansion is, especially in that first week or so, is going to be gathering in general, just because the prices are going to be so high early on that honestly, if you start the expansion and you kind of don't level too hard and you focus a lot of your time on just farming, you're probably going to make a damn good amount of gold, in my opinion. I do think that's going to drop off fairly quick. So again, that first 48, 72 hours, if you focused on that, like, that's a pretty... I think that's you can make a strong case to focus on it early, is what I'm trying to say. I do think in the long run, having all the professions is going to be the way to go. Crafting is going to be the way to go. Picking very, very specific niches that you want to be great at crafting is going to be the way to go. It's just going to be hard to decide what to pick, and I think everybody's going to be overwhelmed because they're going to want to pick the best thing to craft, what can make me the most money, when really it might come down to the decision of pick the thing you just feel like focusing on and focus on it, and don't worry about like, man, I'm focusing on, I don't even know how it works, but I'm focusing on, mail helmets or whatever, or mail gear, and leather's doing the best, or leather this is doing the best. Yeah, that's the hard part, because you're not going to be able to change it. And that's the part that gives me an anxiety, is picking the right thing to focus early on, because early on is where the best gold is at. So that's all stuff I want to look into to try to make up my own mind on what I want to do. And when I know what I want to do, I am going to share it and let you guys know my focus, because I also think going into the expansion that the best way to make gold is going to be server specific items, such as crafting gear and things of that nature. If it's server specific, that's the direction you want to go, and it's a matter of picking your niche on your server and what you want to focus on. But anyway, so I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to do on the beta, a whole bunch of stuff I want to test and look at, so I'm hoping over the next couple of days, that's probably the content I will push out. It's just my initial thoughts as I'm breaking that kind of stuff down and looking into it. And yeah, other than that, my next big thing is, as we look at the calendar, we're going into October. If they're right, if the leaks are right, and if also Hallows End will be ending right? On the 25th, I believe. Is that when it ends? No. It's the 18th of the 1st. Never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah, I read that wrong. Anyway, so on the 25th, if that's really the date that pre-patch comes out, if that is true, then we don't have that long. And I'm suspecting that I'm going to be playing a lot in the pre-patch because, like everybody else, I'm going to be getting ready for an expansion. I want to check out the new class changes. I want to really figure out what I'm going to main or what I'm going to play, even though I think it's going to be mostly warrior and evoker for me. Because you got to remember, like, as much as I'm a gold maker and as much as I enjoy making gold, I actually like to play the dang game as well. I want to get into Mythic Plus. It's never been something I've been big into, but I'm kind of feeling it. You know, I'm usually a PvP person. Having the ability to solo queue is an absolute dream of mine, and the other part of me is like, how could I ever want to do anything other than PvP if I finally have the ability to solo queue? So that's in the back of my mind as well. So yeah, I'm not going to have enough time to do everything I want to do because I also want to make gold. So it's like trying to pick very specific things that I just want to do the most. And it's kind of going to be a mix between my first love is PvP. I also really enjoy making gold, and I would like to splash in some Mythic Plus. That's kind of my initial thought. I can't play everything, so it's a matter of picking, and I'm also have no ability to pick one character. It's why I have as many characters as I do. I play everything, and it is too hard for me to focus on one. But over the course of World of Warcraft's lifetime, it's an easy argument that Warrior has always been my main. Arms is looking great. Fury's looking great based on things I've seen. And that's also what I primarily enjoy PvPing on. So it's probably definitely that I'm going to be playing Warrior primarily. And I'm hoping, but I haven't played it yet, but I'm hoping Evoker is very good as well. And that will, right now, if it started the second, that would be the second character that I would like main. As the expansion goes on, I always splash into everything. It's just I always will do that, but that would be my focus initially. Okay, so the reason I was bringing that up is if we have the boost for leveling here and that lasts until pre-patch, if they're correct, and if pre-patch is coming on the 25th, I'm suspecting that I will be playing an awful lot come pre-patch. And that means there's not a lot of time left for a break. And that's kind of what I was bringing up. I really feel like I need to, as much as I'm enjoying my time, I feel like I need to force myself to take a break. And that's what I plan on doing, just to stay excited and stay into it and stay ready to make content. So I'm going to force myself to take a break here in, I would say, in the next week or two. I think my current subscription runs out on the 20th, but regardless, I want a little bit longer than that. I'm going to force myself to take a longer break than that. So I think this weekend I'm going to play and make content, and I think next weekend I'm going to play, and through next weekend I'll play and make content. And I think somewhere here around the 10th or somewhere around here around this time, I'm going to force myself to try to take like a 2-week break just to kind of prepare. And honestly, if they push out stuff on the PTR, if they push out stuff like that, if it's worth me making content on, I'll make content on it anyways. Like, I think it's going to be hard to fully take a break, but I'm definitely going to lay off gold making and everything for about 2 weeks and try to play other things and try to focus on other stuff. Because, yeah, if pre-patch launches on the 25th, I think that's where my focus is going to be at. And then obviously, come the launch of the game on the 28th, that's where all my focus will hopefully be at for a very long time. So I need to take a break while I can. So that's kind of where we're headed. So hopefully, I haven't even messed with it yet. That's why I didn't do it today. Hopefully, over the weekend, I will get some content out about beta, hopefully profession related, and yeah, that is the current goal. My only big goals is I'm definitely going to get this character to 1 million gold before I take a break, because then I'll probably be done with the character, to be honest, at least until into the expansion or something. So I'm at least going to hit myself a million gold on this, just because I don't feel like I've finished it until I do. And then my goal on my main server is I'm hoping to make another million or so gold, just to prepare myself for the pre-patch. I'm hoping we can make gold in pre-patch, and I can make more than that, because I need to have gold for the expansion. I need to have gold for making more gold at the start of the expansion. And then also, if the leaks are true, pre-purchase for something like Diablo 4 might be early December, and I want to be able to buy it with gold. So all those things are things I'm working on. And yeah, with that, thank you for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what I could do better. Let me know what you want to see. Be sure to let me know if you haven't subscribed, what I could do to get you to subscribe. Thank you if you've made it this far. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.